Hello, everybody. This is Joaquin. We have no music today because we are in the Bronx.
We're in the Boogie Down, baby.
New York. We just made it. We drove all night and we're tired. This is Joaquin once again. And I got my man.
I'm still Jay.
And we have a very, very, very special guest with us tonight or today.
Today.
You're a very special guest, Bert. Say your last name for me.
Bert Bocachica.
Bocachica. And
dude, just because you look white doesn't mean that you can't say Spanish last names, man.
well, I didn't want to screw it up. You know?
I appreciate that.
I mean, like Bocachinka.
I've heard them all.
Mochachica.
Nothing you can say that I never heard.
That's some coffee. So, Bert is somebody that I have heard of when used to be part of RapFest.
Right.
I was a kid in Atlanta, Georgia, listening to like a lot of Christian hip hop, and so on the internet, say, "Oh, RapFest," and I would try to look at the pictures and whatever videos, at that time might be uploaded. So I was always a big fan. I always wish that I could have come down here. But Jay, why don't you help us out with your connection with Bert, and we'll go on from there.
My connection with Bert is actually RapFest.
Okay.
It's actually RapFest. Actually, it goes further than that because I used to come in and sing way in the background sometimes with Sound of Praise. And actually between Bert and Brother E, they, without knowing, I told Ephraim this a couple years ago when we saw him at Flavor Fest that but no, he knew that like pushed me into hip hop, right? Because as you know from the times that we come here in New York, and Bert, just because he's also like me, Latino, in a very legalistic upbringing, Spanish church upbringing.
I'm sorry about that, fellas.
No, I mean
it's okay. I learned a lot.
It's right.
I'm not saying anything negative about
right?
it.
Right? You learn how not to do and how not to be. But anyway, for hip hop to be in our churches was like you're basically inviting the devil to come to church and expecting him to do worship with you.
Right.
But it was a real bad thing. But then Salem, right? Salem Coffee House. Salem Coffee House was like the place for you to go and do anything artistically that God gave you the talent to do.
Right. It's funny because I remember reading about Salem Coffee House. We're talking like God's House
God'sHouse.com.
God'sHouse.com. Yeah, I would scout. Oh man, they're doing all this cool stuff in New York.
yeah.
I'm here in Georgia.
Son, I'm
16 years old. I can't go.
Salem Coffee House, I think, was the first place that I ever like gotten up and like spit a freestyle. When Sound of Praise it was actually Sound of Praise, Pussy and Ray. They were all singing. They're like, all right, no, Jay raps. Go ahead, Jay, go rap. And like every knucklehead wannabe Christian rapper back in the day, I used to call myself Prophet. It was like an acronym. I think it's the only time an acronym ever worked for me. And I made a little song with the acronym like right there on the spot that I still know to this day, but I'm not gonna do it on the program.
Right? How you gonna intro a song and not do it?
Because that's how I do. I'm a knucklehead. But and then talking about knucklehead, like I left, right? I rebelled against the Lord and I started singing salsa and like using my talent, whatever, all over there. And you guys don't know this, pero I came back to New York. I lived in Boston and I had signed a deal with the record label, but I was like hollow, empty. And I had a company, a design firm here in Manhattan, and I gave up my portion of it. I said goodbye to everybody, and I was looking forward to committing suicide.
Wow.
And my best friend at the time and business partner, like the Lord, like showed him what was going on and pulled me back from that. They prayed for me in the office. It was like liberation. It was dope. And that weekend was RapFest, right? So I came down for RapFest just to hang out and look around, just because. And I saw Brother E there, and for whatever reason, I was just like meeting everybody. For whatever reason, I don't know what it was, but I'm meeting all these artists. I bumped into Stephen Baldwin.
Oh, okay. And I know exactly which RapFest.
Yeah, and I hung out the entire rest of the evening. I hung out with him because I told him that I was a graphic designer, and I actually had a backpack with some of my designs. I was a fashion designer. And he wanted to do some kind of North Face thing called like South Back of the Head. I don't remember what it was.
Right,
South
something
Neck.
street something.
Right, yeah,
Something
and-
street something.
And like he was walking around, dude, Stephen Baldwin walking around RapFest, not even trying to hide himself.
No, he
with a
was
fanny
hanging.
with a fanny pack.
Yeah,
He had
fanny pack.
He had a fanny pack and some like really high cut shorts, and not even like trying to hide the fact that he was Stephen Baldwin. And people are like, "Hey, is that?" And it's like, "Yeah, it's me." It's like, "Hey, God bless you, God bless you." It's like it was so dope. So I stayed with him the rest of the time. Now, I say all that because to me, I was telling my wife this when on the drive over here that for me, RapFest started them all. Right? When I moved to Atlanta, I started something called Rhyme Revolution. It was basically the same thing. Right. And if anybody asked me, hey, how'd you get this idea? It's like, dude, there's this thing called RapFest in New York that they do this, but like 100 times bigger and better. And it's outside in the street or whatever. Right? So I wanted to come and talk to you because like I was sad when you and I spoke and you told me that RapFest was no more.
Yeah.
Dude, that
Yeah, now that I'm old enough to be able to go to RapFest, there's no more RapFest. You guys are terrible.
Dude, that hurt my heart. That's like a part of my life, and my redemption is tied into RapFest, dude. So talk to us about that. How did the idea for RapFest come about?
Well, the idea for RapFest, believe it or not, was never an idea for RapFest.
What do you mean?
The Salem Coffee House was already running, which my brother stopped doing the coffee house, and it was like their 33rd anniversary or something.
Wow.
Right, when he stopped. He stopped the same year our last RapFest, 2014. He stopped the coffee house as well. So that was 33 years.
No, man.
But we laugh about the legalistic churches, but we say we do learn a lot there, and they do a lot of things that if we were to grasp them and mold them maybe a little differently, we could really do a lot. We had an evangelist preaching under a tent in our parking lot, and the tent was up on the second Saturday of August, which was a coffee house day. So we figured, hey, our sound system's outside because we had people sleeping over in the tent because to bring all the equipment inside and outside is too much work.
Yeah, it's too much.
So we had the equipment out there. Said, what could we do? Let's do the coffee house outside. But then we started thinking, we can't bring a local rock band to play outside in the South Bronx. It's not going to work. We could probably get away with a salsa band, because we're in the South Bronx. So what do we do? Rap. I already knew Brother E. I knew some guy because I had been rapping already for a few years, and we're talking back in '94.
Right. Oh my God.
And
yeah, that's way back. That's the year I graduated high school. Just to let you know.
So I graduated '90, so
right.
Bunch of yellows here.
So we got a couple of the guys together, and we said, you know what? Let's do a coffee house, kind of like an open forum type thing. We'll have it set up. We didn't know what we were doing. So each group had about almost an hour on stage. Wow. And we went from like 6 o'clock in the afternoon, I think it was, till maybe midnight, nonstop. No idea what we were doing.
And it's South Bronx. So everybody just joined in. Nobody called the cops. Nobody got mad.
Nobody called the cops. We didn't apply for permits or anything. We were already outside in the sidewalk. It was on our property.
Right.
So we were in the parking lot on our property. As the night progressed, we noticed people, coming. They weren't coming into our property, but they were along the perimeter of the fence watching.
Yeah.
So we kept going out and speaking to them, say, hey, I see you're checking us out. We're here Sundays. It was kind of weird. Like, come to our church. We don't do this inside the church, but you could come to our church anyway. Right. It was a weird thing.
It'll be a little different.
Yeah, a little bit different. You might not want to wear that tomorrow.
There's no head bopping, but there's the Christian.
The tambourines and stuff.
You got the tambourines.
No, but what was interesting was that we realized that we were reaching a demographic that we weren't able to reach while we were inside the church.
Correct.
Which kind of like, I had already done some street ministry with Crossroads and stuff during that time, some minor stuff before we started doing the big storyteller stuff. So I was already a little bit exposed to street ministry. That was already part of my heart. We want to do this. We used to do street services, but it was really just a service in the street.
But it was basically what was entered outside.
Right. Bring the podium, the pulpit, the Holy Communion table, everything outside. We used to bring everything outside, so it was the same. But anyway, just to fast forward real quick, it caught on, and while we were wrapping up the equipment to put everything away, people are saying, "When's the next one?
Wow,
when's the next one?" So we're looking at each other like, "The next what? Like, what did you see?" We just saw a coffee house that finished 6 hours too late. And then we realized that we had a salsa band that day, but that didn't really work out too well for us because it just didn't attract the crowd in the neighborhood for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But we realized that the hip hop was drawing a crowd. So we said, you know what? Let's do this again next year at the same way, the same setup outside. But we thought about it a little more. We had a whole year to plan.
Right.
Correct.
And then we realized that a year was not enough time, but we still did it. That's when we started meeting Cross Movement and everybody else. And that was RapFest. RapFest was born. It was like almost like people that say I had 3 children. Well, the first 2 we planned. The second one was accidental.
Right.
That's kind of what it feels like. But you love it. You love them anyway, right?
The third one's name is Milagros.
So that's kind of what it was like. But to us, that's what it was like. But I'm sure God was orchestrating everything all along, because to be able to do it for 21 years, we learned so much. We made so many mistakes, but people don't see that because. We do what's called RapFest music consulting now, my wife and I, and we try to help artists how to present yourself to a church, present yourself to a pastor, to a youth pastor and stuff.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because it's so important.
It is.
I am. Yeah.
We talked about that a little bit on the drive up. Is cats. A lot of these young Christian rapper wannabes, I guess let's call them that. They want to perform, but they don't understand what they need to do to get themselves in front of people. They just think that, I'm here, so you should.
I rap for Jesus, so you must let me do this.
No, but it's something as simple as what you said before, right? When you rapped with Sound of Praise, you had a rap name, Prophet.
Yeah.
If I know you, right? You're Jay. We're talking, we're good. I introduce you to my wife. I expect you to say, hi, my name is Jay. Not Prophet.
Correct.
And something that's simple, like to me, that's a definite no, you're not rocking with us, because apparently your stage name and your performance means more than you.
That's right.
To yourself.
Yeah. And you want me to tell you something?
No, that's true.
I'm gonna tell you something. I picked that up from RapFest, because whenever we do events, I don't want to hear artist name.
Yeah.
Like if you introduce, 2 years ago, we went to Flavor Fest to find artists for Creation Fest, and anybody who introduced themselves to me under their artist name or forced their CD on me before they introduced themselves to me.
Right.
Like, how you spell your name when they're signing the CD? How you spell your name?
Pa fuera. I don't want to deal with it.
But and those are minor things. There are people that do that and are very successful in their ministry, and they're able to come across properly. But all that to say, RapFest birthed in the Bronx out of a opportunity to do an outside event, which we weren't necessarily planning. We fell in love with it. We happened to. It was fun. We only had about 50 people there. We had the whole block, but we only had 50 people there. But we knew that God was doing something, so we did it again. And every year we added something or took away stuff, because sometimes you have to take stuff away. You think you're doing too much. So the first RapFest, 1994, 1995, we rocked. We had the Cross Movement already, because I'm not going to say we hustle hard to try to make things happen. God just put a lot of people in our paths.
Yes.
So through D-Rock on WRSU, I met Cross Movement by listening to a cassette tape. I said, I want to meet these guys. They sound dope. Exactly. I want to meet these guys. They sound dope. I booked them. They come to the RapFest. They met CMN Records. They signed their first record deal. They meet DJ Official. May he rest in peace. They hook up, and they're out there, and now they're near and dear to us. If you get the Cross Movement CD, His Story. They put the whole history timeline. You'll see the RapFest on their timeline, which is a pleasure and an honor for us. For whatever little bit we can do for anybody.
Yeah, the RapFest. Yeah. My last RapFest was where I met Cross Movement.
Well,
and your boy Jafia Life.
Yeah,
Jafia Life.
Yeah, well, it's as a non-New Yorker living in the South. When even at that time, Christian hip hop was starting to actually get good. And I remember I would read stuff about RapFest, and that's where I would find out about different artists to check out, and so a lot of, so I would imagine that I'm not the only one. You imagine probably the thousands of kids like me all over the U.S. that were just like, oh, this is RapFest thing with Christian rap.
We have many testimonies of people that to this day, and all glory to God, we go to different places and people are like, oh, you the guys from RapFest? Man, when I was 12, I came to RapFest, and that changed my life and stuff. And that's amazing because, for us, I don't know if you follow me on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter.
I will after today.
I am Bert Boca. I am Bert Boca. You'll see I posted the other day that RapFest is a local ministry with global impact.
Yeah, global impact.
Yes.
You know, because that's what it was. Like everybody all over the world knows this, but to us, we always treated it. And if we did it again, which I posted the other day too, if I did it again, I'll do it with the same people. But if we did it again, it would still be the same mission.
Yeah.
I want to penetrate the hearts and minds of the people standing on this block. Because at the end of the day, Cross Movement's going back to Philly.
Right.
Yes.
You know, Tommy's going back to Florida. Everybody's leaving.
Right.
And we're left with these people. What do we have for them?
Yeah. What are you gonna? Yeah. What it's so funny because I mean, those exact same thing we were talking about on the trip
how
up
do
here.
you connect with your neighborhood?
And
Right?
that-
You got to connect with
Absolutely.
with the people around you, the people that you interact with every day.
You know, when we left from Salem, because we were there till 2005, I think it was. Salem was awesome with us. You know, even though the first 4 or 5 years, the pastor from there, he denied that he knew us. he used to come up to us, and you know, we're still kind of young at this. You know, he would come up to us. He would tell the whole church, if anybody comes looking for the pastor, Bert's the pastor today. You know, he didn't want anything to do with it. He didn't understand it. It took him a few years to understand it.
Right.
Well, yeah,
And
it's a different generation.
But I totally appreciate it because when he did understand it, he came into the church, and I think it was after that cross movement, that RapFest 2003, I think it was, or 2001, 2003.
It was like,
They used to come every other year, so it's 1 or 3. And he came inside, and he's standing there at the altar, and he says, "Yesterday was an awesome event. And I got to tell you, for the first time, and this is 2001, so we're already going for 5 years, right? Or 6 years, whatever it is." He says, "For the first time, I understood what RapFest is."
Wow.
Nice.
You know, because different people learn different ways. However, one of the pleasures that we had when we left from Salem and we started going to a church in White Plains, my wife and I, and we were no longer doing RapFest there. That's when God told us, you know, it's time to take this out to different neighborhoods, which we did. We stayed in the Bronx, but partnered with a lot of different churches and neighborhoods to inspire them to do similar events.
Wow.
And when we left from Bryant Avenue, the lady from the house in the corner, she was almost crying. "I can't believe you guys are leaving. I look forward to this every year with my family." But we were connecting.
Yes.
You know, we were something we were never able to do before. So what we did, we took it on the road to, you know, we say on the road, we never left the Bronx. We took it on the road to different neighborhoods,
Right.
with the attitude of, "Hello, pastor, we do this event called RapFest. We'll do it at your church. You don't have to do anything but give us volunteers, get us a permit so we could do something in the street here or the park. We'll take care of the whole concert, vendors, all of that stuff. Put your name all over it, and we'll rock." And we did it. We did it with Resurrection Church, Jehovah Shammah, with Calvary, with New Birth, Sanctuary, Westchester Christian.
So when you found these, did you just go knocking on church doors in a sense till you could find somebody that was like, yes?
Absolutely not. At this point, it was relationships. You know, people that have seen it and say, "Man, you know, I always love that." And you know, I encourage anyone who has a powerful ministry or a ministry of any kind. If somebody comes up to you, "Man, I want to know how you do that. How can I do that?" Show them.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a cry for help. You know, to ignore that might as well just ignore Christ. You know,
Yeah.
To the least of these, you got to do it. You know, It's like, bro, how do you hold a mic like that? Show me. Mm-hmm. You know, what does it take for you to just say, "Brother, just, you know, grab it with your other hand, you know, thumb facing in, you know, whatever." Don't cup the mic. But those things are important because there's a cry for people that want to do ministry. And we were never the type to say, "No, I'm not going to teach you. We're the only ones to do this. If you want it, you got to book us." Absolutely not, because I was only doing one per year anyway.
Right.
It's too much work.
Right.
But imagine, you know, the best thing a leader could do is duplicate himself or replicate himself, you know, so that others are doing what you do. When you walk away from it, it's still going. It's not based on me.
Well, and you know, I think that, you know, I've always looked at it as a great leader knows how to serve his people and knows how to serve those that are going to come in contact. I mean, which Jesus gave us that example anyway, right?
Right.
And you know, one of the things, like, I grew up in the church and I've seen a lot of different things, and I'll be right now, man, you're encouraging my heart, like, just listening to your story, because me and Jay have been we're talking a lot about what you're talking about. We were talking about on the drive up here. We've been talking about, weeks now. It
resonates the same without us even having this conversation.
Amen.
Yeah. So, but I think that's amazing. I think that's, to me, that as I'm listening to you, that's ultimately the greatest success in a way of RapFest, is the fact that, you not only, you did the concerts and you touched people in your neighborhood, but you connected with people and you served them, so that they could continue in their neighborhood or wherever they are.
Absolutely.
And that's amazing to me because we don't really run across that a lot. I mean, we've dealt with ministers where it's like, well, I do this. This is what I do.
This is my thing.
If you don't like, if we don't like what you're doing, we're kicking you out. And we're going to replace you because we don't like how you're doing stuff.
They don't even tell you. They just kick you
or
out.
They don't tell you. Yeah, they just kick you out.
Explanation not necessary. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's so encouraging to hear that, all this was going on, and in a way, it's still going on. Really.
Yeah, actually, what's amazing is when in 2014 we're sitting at RapFest. My wife and I already know in our hearts God has spoken to us and told us you're done, but we weren't released yet by God to tell people we're done. One, we never wanted a big goodbye RapFest. This is your last concert. We're coming out to see you.
Right.
We didn't want that because it's not about that.
Right.
The people in the neighborhood across the street, the crackhead, the dealer, the prostitute, the one that's strung out, the single mom, and all those people that are less fortunate than others, in poverty, stricken areas, whatever. They don't care if it's our first RapFest, our last RapFest, if Kanye's coming or they don't care. Well, if Kanye came, they'll probably care.
Yeah, it's a different.
But
maybe a little bit.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, for us, it was never about that.
It was about serving.
It's about serving.
Yeah.
And I was blessed. We had the 20th anniversary night before RapFest. They gave me this plaque, and these guys, Dre, Murray, and those guys, they came out. Whatever. That was dope. We had a great time. But even then, I said it's not about me.
Yeah, I remember we spoke about that before it happened. You were telling me that it was going to happen, and like you, and I want to say this.
I was against it.
I want to say, I wanted to say with a little tack.
I love this dude.
I want to say with a little tack, right? But I was like, but the only thing that I can say is like you had no interest.
I didn't, and
you had no interest, and I'm like, but trust me, at least show up. They're gonna give you a plaque. I mean, do something. They're gonna honor you.
But trust me,
that's not why I did it. I know.
But trust me when I say like I totally appreciate it. The plaque is there on my. It's not even in my living room. It's like in my bedroom on the dresser. It's there. Next to the one I just got from the Kingdom Choice Awards, which was amazing. Because naturally people don't go around saying, "Yo, props, man, you did a good job." You don't get that,
right.
Regardless of how good it is, they don't care. So to see something like that was awesome. But what I want to leave behind is a bunch of selfless leaders. Yes. That they're not there looking for themselves about, hey, we had 88,000 people come today and, 12 accepted Christ or whatever, and they're just popping numbers and trying to make, that's a bad comment.
If only 12 people accepted Christ at 80,000.
Well, if
something wasn't done right.
Well, the fact that they're saying it.
Well, the fact that they're so pompous with it.
You can just figure out the rest there. But you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
I think when you become the focus, naturally he can't be the focus anymore.
Correct.
And if he's not the focus, you're just wasting time. We don't have the connection to be on the radio stations. Okay, we got Tony Tone now in the mornings. Blessed, man. Every Sunday morning, 7 a.m. Check them out. Hot 97. Unheard of. You would have never heard of something like that before.
Right.
So that's a blessing. But we're talking back then. Even this little opportunity, because even though that's a huge opportunity, it's a small opportunity in the eyes of Christian hip hop in general.
Yes.
So it's hard. Like you want to make sure that you leave an impact behind. Like what I wanted to say when you started talking about impacting people everywhere, I get a call from some guy from Nicaragua. Hey, I've been checking you out, and your RapFest has encouraged me. I want to know, how do you do the street ministry? I said, no problem. Let's FaceTime, whatever. And we got on, we connected with him. He's like, yeah, but my pastor doesn't want to do street ministry. He doesn't like this kind of music and this and that. I encouraged him through. He found this park with the hugest built-in stage that you would think it was a huge festival stage that he rented. I told him, yo, where'd you get that stage? He said, it was there. He just had to show, it had the lights and everything.
Oh, wow.
And they didn't do a rap concert. They did a street event. They had a couple of rappers. They had a band. They had worship. They had a bunch of different things. People everywhere. He was encouraged. And that, that encourages us because we impacted somebody in Nicaragua. So we're missionaries. We haven't left the country yet. We haven't left the Bronx, but we're missionaries.
Haven't left the Bronx.
And then the guys now in Colombia with God in the streets, although they already had something going on, I speak to Pastor Orlando all the time, and we exchange ideas. You know, we exchange ideas. God in the Streets, you got to check it out. Go to Colombia. They're in I think they're in Chile now. They go to Chile, Colombia, Peru, and Venezuela, all the different spots for a whole month. And they minister in the schools, in the streets, raw, hardcore hip hop, and they're dope. The artists are dope.
Yeah.
No trap, mumble beats, and none of that stuff. This is real hip hop.
All right, we'll listen. Then.
We'll
check them out.
Yeah. Real hip hop.
We'll check them out.
But it's no.
Well, that's what it sounds like if you don't speak the language. But if you speak the language, you'll understand.
Even if you speak the language, wait.
But I say that because in return, that really does encourage us.
Correct.
To know that we didn't do. I know we never did it in vain, but you know how you say, I didn't do this in vain. I know somebody got blessed by it, and I know a lot of people have given us testimony. But our main goal is always to encourage others to do it because we knew we were not going to be able to do it for the rest of our life. It's going to be impossible to do this, and you're 60, 70, 80 years old. We're going to do RapFest.
Yeah, you have to.
Even though Curtis Blow still's breakdancing, and we had him at one of our RapFests, and I was scared when he started spinning and stuff. But I'm like, how long can you do it? You got to pass the torch.
You got to pass it on.
Other people.
Yeah. And this is not anything, but you have to leave a legacy behind of people that'll continue it. Right. And continue building and serving the kingdom.
Right.
And that's the thing. And that's something that we see missing across Christendom, really. A lot of times is you have these ministries that get built up on the personality, of the person, whoever that person is. And then
the
once
preacher or the pastor.
Yeah, and then once he or she retires, then all of a sudden it's
done.
It's done. And it's like, what happened to that ministry that was so amazing? And it's
right.
like they never had anyone they never trained anyone up to, and that's, like that mentality to me, it's always been, the way I've always viewed ministry is
right.
that, it's, you got to have somebody to take over. You got to,
right.
If you're not building people up, then you're not really, in the end, you're not accomplishing as much as you think you are.
Correct. And, one of the funny things, Kingdom Choice Awards, but shout out to Marcus Hall. They did a great job, Kingdom Time Entertainment.com. Shameless plug. This is live, right? You're not editing. So it went through, Marcus. Peace. When he does the thing called Christian Hip Hop Alliance, they meet here in the city. There's one in Philly, and they're trying to get artists together to unite and speak about their differences and what they have in common, how they could build this, et cetera. So we went to one, and he was like, for the Kingdom Choice Awards, we want to give you guys a farewell tribute. Kind of feel like you guys stopped, but nobody really knew, so we didn't get to, to give you props for it, whatever. I said, dope, no problem. So we exchanged information online. I mean, I already had his information, but we exchanged details online, like what's going to happen. He says, yeah, maybe you and Brother E could come down and say, can I bring the staff though? Yes. He's like, well, how many are you? And I'm like, there's like 80 of us, really. We were able to, we brought 18 people with us, to the thing. And that wasn't everybody,
right?
Because we never thought of doing ministry by ourselves.
Wow. Yeah. I
may be the face of RapFest, but I'm not RapFest. Like I could walk away from RapFest and it's still going to happen. I'll probably like the mic more than people. And, I'll talk all day if I have to. But everybody
has everyone's doing their role. Everyone has.
But not only that, everybody in the whole staff, everybody in the staff knows what everybody's doing. It's not like, well, we can't do that. Bert does that. Or we can't do that. Brother E does that.
Right.
It's more like, if God forbid I got sick one RapFest and I couldn't be there for like 3 months before RapFest,
it'll still go.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome.
Because that's how you're supposed to do ministry. That's how you're supposed to do church. If your pastor gets sick, you don't close the church. Mm-hmm. If your church has to close because your pastor's sick,
some do.
Something's wrong.
And your church is sick.
Your church is sick. Exactly. Exactly. Which I love. Our church, Sanctuary Fellowship, building healthy families. That's part of our motto, our slogan, our line to live by. Enjoying God, serving people, building healthy families. So we tried to do that with the RapFest staff as well. We've had many volunteers that help us, industry giants and absolutely non-Christian. Nobody's just friends that come through to help as well.
Yeah.
To check the validity of the beats and the rhymes. And stuff. But imagine this. We're going to the street. We're going to the hood. We're bringing hip hop. Who are we trying to reach? The kids in the hood. the ones that were just grilling you while you were walking down the block a little while ago. You know? The kids, I told you, be careful, man. I seen the guys stealing bikes and hiding them right here.
But then you have rappers like a Corey Red, who could be up there on the stage, but also be out there in the streets.
Right. But my point is, when we're listening to those demos, right? Because this is where most event coordinators, which you know well too much about,
yes,
you know, where event coordinators fall short,
yes,
is they hear the beat, they like it, they book the artist. They don't know what they're getting with that.
Correct.
Yes.
You know, okay, you got a good song on tape. When this dude shows up demanding all this stuff, or doesn't show up,
Right.
you know, or doesn't show up, or shows up
and it's whack,
and it's whack
because that happens a lot. They don't show up a lot.
Yeah, they don't show up, and they give you the last minute call, say, "Yo, I know you was expecting me, but you know, you got 7 other guys. You don't need me. You know, whatever that kind of stuff. You know, so that's what our staff. That's what we look for. The integrity of the ministry. You know, every year we had a RapFest dinner at my house. Every artist that was booked for RapFest was invited to come with their spouse if they were married, or their girlfriend if they had a girlfriend.
Oh, wow, that's interesting.
You know?
Why?
Because we wanted to build that family relationship, that family feel and environment before the event. Because at the event, we're here to do ministry.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't care. Oh, this is your wife? Nice. You know, it's not time for that. Yeah. It's not time for that. There's people that are on drugs that are standing here that are going to need your attention. They're going to need my attention. I'm sorry, I can't pray for you right now. I'm just trying to find out what this dude's wife's name is, what school she went to.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I have a question for you. It's a very important question. Do you think that something like that can still be done in the climate that Christian hip hop is in now?
Absolutely.
You think the artists will be interested in doing something like that?
Oh, you didn't ask that.
Yeah,
that's a different question.
That's a different question. That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
That's a different question. You create that environment. If I go through the process of submitting for an event like RapFest, I don't know if you saw the video clip of Todd Bangs when he
I saw a little bit of it.
And he started saying there was this process you had to submit, and you had to have pastor reference letters, and they would check it, and we would call. Because most people just, you know, say pastor whatever and throw it in. We would call the pastors and tell me about this brother. You know, what's he like? You know, it's important because I'm putting you in front of my people.
Yes.
You know, I got to treat it like if I'm a pastor now. You know, we as RapFest staff, we are the pastors. These people we don't even know are our congregation.
Yeah, because if they end up acting like a bunch of jerks,
they represent us.
Then it represents you. So then when they're gone, no one's going to remember them.
Exactly.
But everybody's
going to remember that.
Oh, you're the guy that brought those jerks.
It happened at RapFest.
At RapFest.
But you know, so there's a lot of thinking that goes behind making the event happen. That's why it takes a whole year to do, because you really have to be careful. We never got it 100% right.
I mean,
you know, there's always one guy that'll sneak in and like, oh, why we book him? Cut the mic, you know.
Right.
Who kicked the generator? I got the generator. The generator gas is on my sneaker. Who kicked the generator? You know? But no, it's never been that bad. Although the generator has gone out, but I had nothing to do with it. But you know, it's a matter of integrity. You know, like if you were in the congregation in the audience, what do you want to hear? That's what I would tell myself. If I was in the audience, what would I hear? If I heard this, who would I wish was standing next to me? You know?
Do you have, of all the years, do you have any one year that like stands out to you as the most impacting to the community, or impacted you the most?
RapFest 2006 with Nikki Cruz and The Truth as our special guests.
The Truth?
The Truth.
Okay.
Truce was there as well.
Right. That's
what they were rapping for, you know, before Nikki Cruz. That was very impacting. Naturally, Nikki's my boy.
Nikki.
I love Nikki. And that year, it was such a God setup. You know, I don't play chess, but God does. So he checkmate the whole city. We were supposed to do RapFest with the Church of Resurrection Church, a small church on Marmion Avenue, very small church between 174th, 175th Street. Like 2 weeks before we were going to do it, we got a call from the police precinct. Hey, I know you got this event coming up on Saturday, whatever. Everything is good, but we have an issue. So what happened? There's been some gang initiation shootouts going on around there, and I think that day falls, you know, with your event, and we don't know how many people are going to show up. So we're kind of scared. I was like, oh, man, I told them, but we already booked groups. They're coming in, and we have this, and we have that, and people took days off. They're driving from out of town, you know, hyping it up without hyping it too much, because then they're going to say, well, that's too many people. You know,
Right.
So they said, it's okay. We'll give you another spot. They send us 2 blocks up to this park on Arthur Avenue, the big park. So that street starts at 177th down to 174th Street. We were supposed to go between 174th, 175th. Because of the way that's set up, we ended up between 174th and 176th, which 176 was like 2 blocks long also. So we had the largest spot ever in the streets, in the busiest neighborhood ever, where we were going to be. We would never see us. They would have never seen us. You would have had to intentionally be passing by there to find RapFest.
Wow.
We were like at
Thanks, gangbangers.
yeah. Like this was like you're coming out of McDonald's and you're facing straight to us. You're coming off the bus and you're on the corner where RapFest is happening.
Wow.
And who did we have invited? That Nikki Cruz.
Nikki, who's
perfect.
from here.
It was perfect. I mean, God just set up everything: the weather, the environment, the people that were. That was the largest crowd we ever had. We had like. I tell people we had about 5,000 people if you add it up totally. Were people in the park that stopped to watch. They gave us permission for the whole park. It was amazing. We went from the little block to this huge park, so Dude. It was dope. So that's the most memorable one to me as far as ministry is concerned.
Yes.
Plus, when everything's said and done and we're sweeping up, because yes, we run the event, but we also clean the street when we're done, and we fold tables and put away tents and carry them home and put them away. We got to do that. We don't have that kind of staff. But as we're putting away tents and tables, who comes up to me and says, "Yo, that was really nice, real nice. That was really, really nice." I turn around, DJ Grand Wizard Theodore. He was hanging out there the whole time because he was going later to a big event that was happening with like a hip hop honors thing locally.
Okay.
They were doing something local. I was like, oh man, like I was checking the whole thing out, man. It was good, and that encourages me because here we have almost like a stamp of approval from the OG of hip hop,
hip hop royalty,
a real hip hop royalty,
right?
So that was good. And trust me, I'm not flattered by names. Like you could drop all the names you want on me, and I'll straight face you all the way.
I think that's a New York thing.
Right? No, but there's a reason for that, and we do have time, but I don't want to give it all away. We do RapFest Music Consulting. If you want to know more, you just call us up. We'll give you the prices. You come over. We hang out.
What's the number that they can call?
No. You just rapfestinc@gmail.com for everything.
All right, there you go.
Or just follow me on Facebook.
rapfestinc@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Do yourself a favor.
No, but we don't. And my wife is not. I wish my wife would have been here. I should have had her here because she's not a hip hop head at all.
Wow.
But she loves ministry. She loves God. So that's our balance.
Yeah.
I could go crazy and say, yo, we got this DJ, that one. She's like, what are they talking about?
Right.
And that's what makes a difference.
They're talking about Jesus.
Reminds me of my wife.
But that's important.
Who cares?
That's important. But I'm going back to names like, I've had DJ Newman, Brother E, that all tell you we've been like this all the time. Talk about names. Manny and Ephraim. Sorry. But people out there know them as DJ Newman and Brother E. They'll tell you all the time. Like someone will come to me, yo, got to meet this guy. He rolls with this person, that person, this person, that person. I'm like,
and
so, okay. And I don't try. It's not to be rude with people, but we're bigger than that. God is bigger than that. And we have to stop chasing the way the world chases.
Yeah.
Wait. You have to say that again because I think somebody might have missed it. Say that again.
We have to stop chasing the way the world chases.
And it's I love that you say that because we started having a conversation on a drive up here where like we see and especially me since I deal more personally with a lot of the artists now, which is why I asked you the question before. Do you think that can be done with the climate of artists that we have now? Because a lot of the artists now do exactly that. They chase the fame, they chase the spotlight the way the world chases, and they forget who it is that they're serving.
Yeah, they chase the ministry spotlight, which is, is just as blinding as the world's, spotlight.
To be a celebrity is impressive, for a lot of people.
Yes,
a lot of people want to be recognized when they walk down the street. A lot of people want to have security around them when they go into places and stuff, and I get it. I'm not saying I don't get it. I get it. When I started rapping, I was in high school when I was going to audition for Sugar Hill Records to get signed to Sugar Hill Records, and I couldn't because I had to go to church that Friday night. I had to go to church that Friday night, and they actually signed a Disco Dream Mean Machine who did a Spanish rap, which was what I was going to do. So God knew I wasn't supposed to be there. But, oh man, if I would have gone, you probably would have been talking about something else right now. But you know, chasing, it's a natural thing. You know, people want to achieve things. It's a matter of what do you want to achieve. That's what makes the difference. Because you could chase after God. What a theory. I'm going to chase after God as a Christian. How does that sound? That's something new.
And that's the word that I'm bringing tomorrow.
That's something new and mind blowing. It's like we are, you know, and nowadays, and I'm not going to get into names or debates, but you know, people are taking away the label of Christian artists. So, okay, so if you're not representing Christ anymore, then what are you representing? And if you're not saying his name, what are you so ashamed of?
Right. It's sad when you have secular artists question that. Like what are you doing? Like, you don't want to say you're a Christian artist. Why not? Okay. What was the quote? He said, if that's where your power comes from, then why would you not want to say his name? For a secular artist to say that, that's mind blowing.
I'm gonna tell you a story. I made this up though. I gotta make it clear to say that I made this up because I don't want anybody to say Bert's reading some false doctrine scriptures and stuff out there, and he lost his mind. He's smoking crack and stuff like that. The story goes like this: Jesus goes to one of his angels and says, "I want you to go to earth, find me the Christian rappers, and bless them." The angel goes down to earth. A day, 2 days, 3 days, comes back. Jesus, I need help. I can't find the Christian rappers. He said, you'll find the Christian rappers and you'll bless them. Just go down. Trust me. He goes down. Another 2 days, he comes back. Jesus, I can't find the Christian rappers. How would I know which are the Christian rappers? There's so many guys on there. He said, just go down. The ones that are speaking about me are the Christian rappers. Go down and bless them. He goes 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Comes back. This time he's quiet. Jesus said, did you find the Christian rappers? The angel's like, yeah, I found them. By the way, Kanye and Chance say thanks. But that's where we're living.
Yes.
That's where we're living.
Oh my goodness.
You know, that's the environment we're living in. You know, where
and that's who we're looking towards as the symbol or as the example for now, Christian hip hop.
You know, what I want to do is tell the pastors, the senior, but I'm not talking to just youth pastors, the senior pastors, the bishops, the apostles, all of whoever is booking these ministries, check what they're doing. The same way you wouldn't share your pulpit with somebody who's just speaking garbage. Why would you share your pulpit with someone who's rapping garbage? What's the difference?
Right.
You know,
correct.
Check them. There should be some substance there. That, like, what value are you going to add to my congregation, to the audience that I'm putting you in front of?
Yeah. What are you going to feed them?
Or are you going to feed them? Or are you going to take their food and leave them hungry? Or, you know, like, oh my God, now, you know, I'm lost, you know?
Yes.
It's scary. I think we have to bring Christ back to Christian hip hop.
Mm-hmm.
I think we have to put Jesus back on the map with Christian hip hop.
That's tweetable.
Not through the secular artists. It's a shame that more secular artists are getting recognition for Jesus lyrics than Christian artists. You know, and it's the whole thing, right? The Christian artist wants to be so hardcore, cool, and dope, and they're doing all this crazy stuff, and they go out there. The secular dudes aren't biting their rhymes or biting their songs. Or you never heard anybody come out and say, do the next Jafia Life Challenge or something like that. You know, nobody's doing that. You know, we'll take the Panda and all that other stuff and remix it and go down. Why? Because that's so popular right now that garbage is taking over.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, it's like read a quote this week where it said we're so intent on being relevant and crossing over that we forget to bring the cross over.
Right. No, that's a fact. That's a fact. There's no room for nonsense on the cross.
Well, the problem
I speak to artists. Oh, I'm sorry. Right. I speak to artists, and their defense is on wanting to be recognized for their art so much. Well, I'm an artist. You know, I just want my art out there. And then, you know, when I ask the questions like, but what about the one who holds your heart? Right? What about him? because isn't he the reason why? Then I get mean mugged. Then,
but yeah,
I get rejected.
That's a good question.
That Jay's a jerk.
That's a good question. I'm sure if you put this on a podcast, there'll probably be a bunch of comments with hate mail. All hate mail goes to Jay at what's your email?
Jay at thisisoutcry.com.
Yeah,
JAE at thisisoutcry.com.
And you can CC Joaquin.
Yes,
not me.
Yeah, you don't want me going off.
No,
on
no, it's not.
I brought my soapbox with me today.
And unfortunately, you know what? You want to receive those hate mails because you want to know what people are thinking. You just don't want to respond to those things because that's what they want.
Right.
Correct.
I never feed into that stuff. If I was to feed into all the hate mail we got when we were doing RapFest, like, why didn't you book me? You don't support me, blah, blah, blah. You got your own people. I said, if you only knew the whole, I was never even allowed to listen to the demos because I know everybody, through my years of doing RapFest, I know everybody. So, of course, I'm going to side a little more with my boy because, come on, man, we rocked. We did a concert together. We did a show.
Yeah.
So, Bert, you're out of the process. I would just press play, listen to this song, listen to this song, listen to this song. What do you guys think? I read the demos and stuff like that, read the bios. But, you want the hate mail because you want to know what people are really thinking. But you don't necessarily want to respond. That, I throw it on the floor, and then we kneel down and pray next to it. Yeah, just pray God answer him. Yeah, apparently that's a heart issue. When people come at you with stuff, that's a heart issue. Yeah. It's not a music issue, a concert issue, a pastor doctrine. That's a heart issue. Pride gets in the way, and it gets masked in hating you.
Yes,
right.
So
people hide behind that. They're just like, oh, the brother, he said this, he said that. He said, man, just chill out, listen to God.
So as we're gonna be wrapping it up soon because you got your thing to do in a few minutes here. So with all your experience with RapFest, all these years and all this different these different ministry things that you've done, how is this, or how does that experience, how has that impacted your new route in ministry life? What you're doing now. Is it the same thing, or does it that experience and these experiences in the past, has that helped shape or reshape what you're moving towards now in the future?
Thank you. You answered the question right there.
Did I answer the question for you?
You did. That's exactly.
I'm that good.
You that good. High fives all around the room. No, but it's everything you do in life has to add value to your life. I'm not gonna. Even the negative stuff you've gone through in life taught you some kind of lesson.
Correct.
Whether it be like you said before, something, don't do that again,
Right.
But it taught you something, So if you can't grasp even a little bit of good from what you're doing, naturally you shouldn't be doing it. But there's something to learn in everything we do. Every year that we did RapFest, I learned something else. And how does it spill into my ministry now? I still do outreach ministry. So it's not like I'm starting something new now. I'm just doing what I used to do at a different location, different place, different people around me. Yeah. That hasn't changed. We just did an outreach ministry in the street. And it was crazy because this church has never done a street event. With Sanctuary Fellowship's 10 years old. So we never really done a street event. We have an outreach ministry here that my wife and I, kind of oversee. But we never done a street event. So people were like, what do we do? What do we do? How do we do this? How do we do this? I said, don't ask me. Just do it. You're okay. You can do this because we have to empower people.
Yes.
Just do it. Oh, what do we do with it? Just do it. Don't worry. Take notes if you mess up. Next time we do it different. We'll learn. It was the most successful outreach event we've ever done around here.
Wow.
It was amazing. To this day, people in the streets, we have people that are coming to this church now because they came to the event in August.
Oh, that's great.
And I just found out on Saturday. I said, how'd you get here? We had a ministry, a marriage ministry thing. So I saw a married couple say, how'd you guys get here? So, we were here at the block party and somebody prayed for me and now I'm here.
That's so dope.
But you have to empower people. Don't take all the credit because if you take all the credit, you're doing all the work.
Yes.
And if you're doing all the work, it's not about.
You take all the blame.
Yeah, well, that you can't run from. Right? You get the blame, even if the event is good. You get blamed somehow.
You get blamed for telling them, "Go ahead and do it."
even us, as beautiful as our event was, it was mad hot. It was like 100-something degrees, so we had the fire department come and open the fire hydrant. They didn't come to close it until the next day. The neighborhood was so mad at me, but I was like, "But look, there's still kids playing." And it were 9 o'clock in the morning. They were in the pump. I was like, "There's still kids playing."
Oh man,
to be good.
So many memories.
But all that to say, man. Everything I've learned through RapFest, I've learned not on my own. I'm not going to say I found this magic book, to lead. I did. It's called the Bible, but I haven't found a book of rules and regulations on how to do phenomenal events or anything like that. It's just a matter of how do you reach people, I'm willing to do whatever it takes to reach people.
Okay.
If it meant RapFest, we did it for 21 years. Fine. We heard God tell us it's no longer, RapFest. It's time to do other things. We're young adult pastors here at the church and on the pastoral staff here at Sanctuary Fellowship. We love it. I play piano for the worship team. My wife always sings. My son sings and involved with the sound ministry and stuff. Outreach here at the church. That's part of our hearts. The same way we did with Storytellers and Nikki Cruz. That's where I learned a lot of my street tactics for ministry was through Nikki Cruz outreach.
Okay.
So I mean, I know we're not supposed to say this, but you're kind of learning from the best.
Right.
I brought Nikki out to Atlanta one year, and I had after having him for one weekend, it's like, all right, I have to redo everything that I've been doing.
yeah, for sure. Yo, man, he just rocked us completely with his staff. It wasn't even him. It's like his staff came in and told us stuff, and we're like, we've been doing that wrong. We've been doing that wrong. We've been doing that wrong. And there's still more to learn. There's a lot of conferences and stuff out there where people are trying to do things, but.
So I have maybe a very important question, at least to
all right,
me.
and this will be the last one.
And this will be the last one. Would you ever bring RapFest back for a year?
Will I ever bring RapFest back? I posted something on Facebook and Instagram, and I think even Twitter. I think Twitter was first the other day, and it said, if I had to do it again, I'd do it with the same crew.
Right.
And my brother Mike, who ran the coffee house, and they stopped after 33, 34 years, whatever. He said, when? But he's like, but it also said, I'm down.
Yes.
When I'm down. When, where I'm down. That's what his response was. Would I do it again? Yes. God himself will probably have to come to my house first and tell me.
Okay. Wait, I'm hearing. I'm getting a message.
Yeah. Take the headphone off.
I'm getting a message.
It could be feedback. Police radio or something. No, but would I intentionally do it again? No. Can we do it right now? No. We don't have enough local ministries that could hold what we're trying to do. And that would be like a whole other podcast.
Yeah,
correct.
Or RapFest Music Consulting. Bert, rapfestinc@gmail.com. But, can we do it again? Absolutely. Will we do it again? Almost nah.
Okay, well, I'm going to start fasting and praying because I want to be able to come up for a RapFest.
No,
So
it's a lot of work. I don't know.
It is.
and if you guys do it, listen.
But
I get 3 weeks of vacation. I'll take all 3 of them to come up and help.
But we're not a monopoly, so somebody else do it. I went out to Richie Righteous event the year after RapFest. The year after RapFest was done, Richie was doing an event. And I went there, and I almost felt like I was passing him the torch. Like, yo, this is dope. He had a bunch of artists in the street.
Richie Righteous doing?
He's dope. Go to his church, man. He's great. He's been preaching like crazy. He might be out of the country right now, but check him out.
Okay.
I love Richie. I would do RapFest with 12 Richies on stage.
I haven't seen him
back to back Richie.
I've been in Atlanta for like 15 years.
But yeah, would I do it again? More than likely not. But if that's what God calls, yeah. But this next season, I don't think it's for RapFest. Not for us anyway.
Right.
Not to say that others can't do it. So
Okay.
I'll leave that out there.
So I'm moving to New York, Jay. I'm going to start it back up.
All right.
Yeah.
Have fun.
So you see how hard it is. And then
Yeah.
running, crying back to Atlanta.
I will
Cool.
not
I got to hop
run.
into a
All right,
run,
so
bro.
with that being said, we got to get Bert out of here. Thank you so much for doing this with us.
My pleasure.
You've blessed us beyond what we could even probably tell you.
Beyond the podcast.
Beyond the podcast. So as always, go ahead and give us your name again.
Bert Bocachica from the Boogie Down Bronx, rapfestinc@gmail.com. Follow me on all social media at I am Bert Boca.
All right, and now we got you. Who are you?
I'm just Jay.
That's Jay. And my name is Joaquin, and this is the Overflow Podcast at thisisoutcry.com. Thanks for listening. We will catch you on the next one. Peace.
New York edition.